What's up, YouTube? Long time no talk. Just want to go over, I got about 550 miles on this bike right now, the Sondors Rockstar. And I just want to kind of go over what, you know, the goods and the bads and the uglies and all that good stuff. So I have a list, and I'm going to read off a list. Sorry, I don't have this memorized, but this is going to be about, is this bike for you? And if it fits your riding style or not. And I'm just going to start from what I have written down, and I'm going to give you the reasons why I did something to this bike, if I did something to it, and, you know, the benefits and all that good stuff. So let's start from the top. Here we go. If you are into riding paved paths, mild dirt trails, and occasional mountain bike trails, most of the things on this bike I would not change. And this list, I'll start right now. Grips, bars, stems, and brakes, leave it as is, the way it comes stock. It's fine. Suspension. You know, this comes with, depending on what generation you have. This bike was a first generation, so it had Sun Tour forks on it, which were fine. And it came with a D&M air shock in the rear. You know, if you're not going to change anything on this, the suspension is adjustable. So I would adjust it for rider weight, and that's it. Good to go. Wouldn't change the suspension. Pedals. The stock pedals that come on it, they're plastic, but do you really need to change them if you're just going to take, you know, like I said, paved paths, mild dirt trails, and occasional mountain bike trails? No, you don't have to. The cranks that come on it, you know, they're 165 millimeters long, I think. Sondors cranks, they're like a no-name. Nope, I wouldn't change them. No need to. You're good to go. The seat that comes on it and the dropper post that's externally routed, they're fine. To me, the seat was comfortable that came with this. It's a no-name seat. The dropper post was a K&S externally routed. I had no issues with it. KS is actually a very good company. I've had KS seat posts in the past that are dropper posts. And, you know, I had one that was slowly leaking. I called the company up. I told them my issue, and they're like, hey, you know what model do you have? What size? We're going to send you a new one. No questions asked. That was my experience with KS dropper seat posts. Good to go. So the one that comes on this bike, no need to change it. Good to go. And the seat's comfortable. You know, depending on your anatomy, maybe the seat's not comfortable, but for me, it was fine. The drivetrain, no need to change it. I know I get a lot of people saying, oh, is the chain going to break? I've seen videos where the chain breaks. The chain that comes on this is a KMC E11 X chain or something like that. I got over 500 miles on the chain that came on this bike. And I ride, if you watch my videos, I fully mountain bike this thing. I mean, that's what I have this built for me personally, is mountain biking. And just recently, like a couple days ago, I changed the chain just because one link had a kink in it and it kept skipping. And, you know, I'm like, you know what? I have a brand new chain laying around. Time to change it. So I changed it. I could have changed the one link, but you know what they say, when you change one link, what is the you know, the chain's as strong as the weakest link. So I decided to completely replace the chain. But, you know, like I said, if you're riding paved paths, mild dirt, and occasional mountain bike trails, the chain is strong enough. It's fine. Okay, the bike stock comes with a SRAM group set, NX. That's your derailleur, your 11-speed rear cassette, and your shifter. Totally fine. I still am running the stock SRAM NX shifter. I'm running the stock SRAM cassette, 11-speed. And I did upgrade to a GX. That's the next, I guess, level up from an NX. But the only reason I did that is because I bent the NX pretty bad. So I'm like, okay, might as well upgrade if you're going to replace something. But no need to do that. The tires that come on this bike, there's no need to upgrade them. They're Maxxis High Roller 2s, 3.0 wide. awesome tires. No need to change them. The wheels that come on this thing, you know, they're 27.5 inch wheels. They're super wide. The internal diameter is 40 millimeters wide for these fat tires, or oversized tires, I would call them. I wouldn't call this bike a fat tire bike, but the tires are pretty big on it with the stock wheels. The one thing I would change or check is your rear hub. So it's got pawls inside, and it's a 3-pawl design. So this is your 3 pawls right here. You got 3 points of contact. You can get one that has 6 points of contact. This is a bare pawls, and you know, more contact is better than, you know, less. So you could upgrade that, but the one problem the Rockstar was having is these were coming heavily greased. So these were sticking, and occasionally they would flip over like that. They weren't, you know, all they need is a light oil on them. So you could check that. These are easy to remove. You just unscrew the hub and slide these out. They should come right out easily. That's one issue this bike did have, but everyone's experience is different. Some bikes did it, some bikes didn't do it. And, you know, I'm always riding this in the dirt, always climbing steep climbs. So I had to replace my whole rear hub with something that I'll put the link in the description. It's a hub off eBay. It's only $100. It's a DT Swiss Star Ratchet hub design. I had to rebuild my rear original wheel to put the hub in, but that's a whole nother video. If you want to see how I did that, you can watch it. It's yeah. But after I changed it, no issues. It's good to go. And pretty much, like I said, if you're riding paved paths, mild dirt, you know, paths, or occasional mountain bike trails, not getting too crazy, I wouldn't change much on this bike at all. It's good the way it comes. Now for me and my riding style and the guys I ride with, you know, I would call it, you know, some serious mountain biking and long-term use, like riding the trails over and over and over. That's all I do. I don't ride this. Occasionally I'll ride, you know, with a wife and stuff, but 99% of my riding is, you know, mountain biking. What this bike was designed for, you know, full suspension, mountain bike. So I'm going to go with and give you the list of what I have done to this bike and the reasons why. So I changed out everything, you know, from my grips to my bars to my stem to my headset, you know, to I put a dropper post on it. I changed the forks to Domain RockShox. I have a 29-inch front wheel on this. I have 4-piston Shimano XT brakes. I have oversized rotors. I have an internally routed dropper post. I have a D&E speed trap seat. I have the D&M coil suspension with a Fox shock on it. You know, I changed the front sprocket to a 38 tooth. I experimented with that until I found what, you know, I liked. 38 tooth front sprocket. It's aluminum. The one that comes on this bike is steel. With the aluminum, the sprocket is what's going to wear before your chain wears. With the steel sprocket that comes on this bike, that's something I forgot to mention. If you're riding that steel sprocket, you know, just mildly, you don't have to worry about wear and tear. But with the aluminum sprocket that I have under here, they're $11 to $12. Chains are $65 to $75, I've seen them. So you're going to wear out that front sprocket before your chain wears out. So that's why it's better to go to, you know, an aluminum front sprocket. Like I said, I'm 38 tooth. 38 tooth allows me to climb easier, steeper terrain. I did shorten my cranks. I went from the stock ones that I think were 165 or 170 to a 150 Miranda crank. And for me, that's for clearance. When you're pedaling through rock gardens, you don't want to get rock strikes or anything like that. So that's why I put shorter cranks on this. The pedals I went with, some platform style composite pedals. You know, they're super strong. I have them on my other bike. They're proven. They have better grip, better bearings, you know, everything, all around better. I'm still running that 27.5 rear stock wheel, but I did replace the hub. I had built the wheel myself, took it to a shop, and they trued the wheel for me because I don't have a truing stand. I am running the GX 11-speed shifter. I upgraded that. I do have a chain guard. I do have a bash guard under here, and that is from Ramco Fabrication. What else? 29-inch front wheel, I think I told you that. And it's, you know, little things like a seat clamp. You know, if you follow me, you know what I've done to this bike. So the reasons being why I did that is, okay, so why did I change out the brakes? Because the brakes that come on this bike, they're 2-piston. I switched to a 4-piston. I got larger rotors and I got better pads. That's just for, you know, your control and the integrity, the life of your brakes. And, you know, this thing's 80 pounds. You need that control, especially when you're going fast. Why did I change my suspension? Also, you know, better control, better just, you know, travel in the suspension. The other air shock would bottom out. This one has plenty of travel. I haven't bottomed it out yet. It's got that steel coil on it, which is super, super supportive of this heavy bike. It's a 650-pound spring. You know, I got the RockShox domain in 170 millimeters of travel. They're 38 millimeter stanchions, you know, to support this big, heavy bike. You know, the way I ride, you need all that. Let's see, what else do I have here? I already talked about the pedals being platform pedals. They're made of composite. They're super strong, super reliable. And the cranks, 150 millimeters of travel, just, you know, so for that clearance when you're pedaling over rocks and whatever. What else do I have? Let's see, the seat. Basically, the only reason I changed the seat is because I run it on my other bike, Deity Speed Trap. It's comfortable to me, more comfortable than the seat that came with this bike. So I already knew what seat I wanted for comfort and looks. Another thing, I put that dropper post and it's routed internally. Another reason, for looks. And for length, it's 170 millimeter, so it's a little bit taller. I'm 6'1". That's, you know, a couple reasons why I changed my seat post out. I already talked about the front sprocket. It's a 38 tooth. You know, it's a little bit lighter, of course, than the steel one, but, you know, weight savings on this bike, it's not going to happen. You know, it's putting, you know, swapping aluminum from steel. Wow, you're saving a few grams. Big deal. But I only did it because I went from a 44 tooth sprocket steel to a 38 tooth aluminum. And I already talked about the wear on the chain, the steel versus the aluminum. You're going to wear out your aluminum $11 chain ring before you're going to wear out your $75 chain. So that's another reason. And climbing ability. The 38 tooth, just, it gets you in that lower, you know, climbing gear, you know, much better. But like I said, the chain that comes on this is the what is it called? It's not KMC. Anyway, the chain that comes on this, why am I drawing a blank right now? Is it a KMC? Anyway, the E11 chain. No need to change that. It's a great chain. It's probably the best you're going to find for an e-bike. The shifter, I have a GX. The only reason being, I bent the NX, which was fine. So I just upgraded to the next level. The tires, they come with the Maxxis 3.0 High Roller 2s. They're awesome tires. They are hard to find in 3.0. So I'm running right now a 2.8 in the rear. I did decide to run tubeless, and tubeless gives you benefits of, you know, you can run lower pressures. You can, you know, prevent pinch flats if you're running tubes. That's where, you know, your rim and a rock, they hit, you get a snake bite right through your tube. So that's the one benefit of tubeless. You can pull thorns out and they'll seal right up. But what happened to me on a recent ride was I ran over a nail or a spike, and the hole was so big that no amount of sealant is going to, plug that hole. So I always carry a spare tube, always. This is running a spare tube right now. If there's a tube in there, it covered me, got me back home. I'm still running it. And the only reason being I didn't put sealant back in this is because the hole on this tire is so big, I'd have to do an internal patch on that tire. And you know what? I'm just going to run the tube until that tire's, toast. Then I'm going to buy a new tire. And then I'm going to go back to tubeless. Let's see. The rear hub, I already explained that. I bought the rear hub off eBay. It's a DT Swiss Star Ratchet design. Totally different from the hub that comes on the stock Sondors. For me, it's been great. I got 500 and some miles, and I'm going to, show you that right now. Let's see what else. You don't have to change the hub, but I would recommend, pulling that free hub off of, your cassette and checking it for how much grease is in there. Because like I said, those pulls will stick shut and you're not getting any contact points. Just drip, clean it up, drip a couple drops of oil, like some mineral oil, some, chain lube oil, just so those pulls open and react. I mean, that's one thing on this bike I've seen, that's a true weak point. For me, knock on wood, the electronics have been fine. I've never had an issue. This does run, your sensor pickup with a magnet on the spokes. Sometimes those don't line up. That's an easy fix. Adjust them, make sure that magnet and the pickup sensor are, coming in contact. I have other videos with like error codes that do come up. If you have any questions, check out those other videos, please. I had some other things I was going to talk about, but I'll probably save that for another video. And right now, let's see how many miles I have on this thing. I know it's over 500. Real quick bike check. There she is. I have tons of videos if you really want to look at this bike in detail, all the things I've done to it. But I love this bike. What I am going to, mention in another video. So 541 miles, 541 and a half, and pretty much trouble-free. Some people say they've had issues with customer service. It's kind of like a 50-50, good and bad. I haven't never had to do customer service or deal with customer service, but I pretty much service my bike myself. I do whatever I can to my knowledge. I have re-greased the motor. It's not too hard. I have a video on re-greasing the motor if your motor is noisy. That's something you can do. It's not necessary. It's just my choice. Is this bike for everybody? No, it's 80 pounds. So if you're not in decent shape, or if you have no way to transport this thing, you're going to need a really heavy duty bike rack if you're going to mount it on a hitch. I personally put this in the back of my pickup with a mountain bike pad over my tailgate, just like I do my other bike. And I basically drop the tailgate down, load the bike up, flip the bike around, shut the tailgate while I'm inside, and just drop this bike over the tailgate like any other normal bike. I do have a truck with 35-inch tires on it. It's lifted a little bit, but I can still do it. Some things to consider if you are coming from motocross. This bike feels, sorry about my dog, more like a dirt bike. Like, it's heavy. It stays planted in the corners. It just moves. The suspension is just like buttery. It just feels so dang fun. It feels more stable at high speeds than my Specialized Enduro. That thing's 32 pounds. I trust this more in corners just because of the bite it has. It's super, torquey motor. This thing can climb up a wall if you can get traction. It's insane. I've rode other e-bikes. They're cool, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying this is better, but those other e-bikes I've tried, they're not much more exciting than a regular bike. This thing, it's a different beast. It is. Honestly, I've had guys ride it and, in the parking lot, and they get off and they're like, dude, why did I ride that thing? This is insane. Like, oh my gosh, the front end pulls up easily. It's just crazy. It's It's in a class of its own. You know, it is what it is. Like with the weight, like I said, I'm just trying to think of all the, you know, things. I have nothing really bad to say about it, you know. The head tube angle, it's probably now with the 29 and the 27.5, that's what I'm running. It's called the mullet, you know, conversion. So I got a 29-inch tire, 27.5. The head tube angle, I believe, is 68 stock. Now it's about 67, 66 and a half with the mullet. You know, so it kind of slacked it a little bit. And that was a big concern to me because my Specialized Enduro is like super slack. When I sit on that, thing looks like a chopper. But honestly, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, I don't notice it. And I'm not a professional, you know, downhill racer or anything, but I really don't notice the head angle as being like a disadvantage. This thing, it's fine. It rides fine. I'm super stoked on this thing. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I look forward to riding it as much as I can. I mean, it's like I've told my buddy Ted, like, dude, every time we take these things out, it's like Christmas Day. Like, dude, we get into some crazy adventures. And the battery, the oversized battery, the range we can get. I mean, the thing with an e-bike is you look at something like miles away and you're like, dude, what's that over there? Let's go. Because we can, you know, it's crazy. So, and honestly, you know, I'll admit, I used to be an anti-e-biker until my neighbors picked up a few of these and I kind of followed them around. If you know my story, you know, you can see my early videos. I followed my buddies around that had these and I was just like, yeah, dude, you know what? I might be interested in one, you know. So I started following them, making videos. I actually got to meet Storm Sondors himself. Super cool, down-to-earth guy. He basically gave me this, you know, frame, motor. It was a partial built bike. And this guy, Bruce C., you know who you are. He's the one that helped me build this bike. He put this thing together. He's the guru of the Sondors Rockstar. If you want to check out our Facebook, it's Rockstar Rebel Riders. Check us out on there. I mean, we get in depth with this thing. I have a list in there of every single part and a link, you know, to every part in there if you're interested in upgrading this bike. Like I said, depending on your riding style, you don't have to do that. That's just me. And I have no regrets. This bike is insane. It's crazy. And, you know, when it first came out, I think it was under $3,000. It was $28.99. Now it's about $3,600. But still, for what you get, you throw a few, you know, decent parts on it, you're still not going to be paying as much as you are like on a high-end, say, Specialized, Trek, or, you know, any of those big name bikes. And like I said, those bikes are different. They're lightweight still, comparatively, you know, to this 80-pound thing. It's a different experience. It's a different bike. They're not as fun. I mean, you get on this and you're just like, you're blown away at the torque and the power, and it's crazy. So yeah, that's my little, I guess, rant or review on this bike. I honestly, you know, I love it. I wonder if they're going to come out with a 2.0 version that's a little bit lighter, you know, a different head angle. I don't know, but if they do, that'd be sweet. So yeah, the motor, Bafang M620. If you want to know what the power plant is, it's great. That's it. That's really all I got to say. I do have more stuff. I'm trying to think of things off the top of my head. I do have a trip planned coming up. I'm not going to say where and when because, you know, I'll keep that a little bit of a secret. I just did purchase a big purchase, which, you know, that might come into play. It's nothing, you know, it's not a mountain bike or anything, but it's something within that category, outdoors. I'll just say that for now. So you'll be seeing that coming up in the future. Check out my little, you know, merchandise website. I just got a bunch of stickers restocked right here. That's the website. You know, for merchandise, I got t-shirts on there. I got pint glasses, coffee mugs, stickers. You know, I'd appreciate it if you guys just check it out or share it. You know, thank you for your support. And yeah, you know, What do you guys think of this sticker? What do you think of this design? My wife, she doesn't understand it, her and her friends. What is that? KOM is King of the Mountain. There's the mountains, and this is a crown. Makes sense to me. It makes sense to most mountain bikers. But anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Stay stoked, and I'll see you out there in the next ride.